Hello and welcome to the home of the Ghost Owl, finishing up with our last episode in this Dwarven faction focus where we've tried to go pretty in-depth on all the different units, all the different runes, rules, unit comparisons, couple of sample army lists as well. A total of 111 slides of information and data put together to complete this faction focus. Bear in mind, I'm planning on doing this for every single faction, including the legacy factions. I think we could be here for some time. By the time I think we finish this, the legacy factions might even be brought into core. No, that's not going to happen. So what I thought we'd do is finish off with something a little bit fun, having gone through the detail of the Dwarven faction, is missing units. So these are units that either in previous army books or even in Total Warhammer, but these are units that have been greenlit by Games Workshop for the Total Warhammer games. So, they could absolutely be incorporated in the future. And when I mean the future, I'm talking long term. I'm in no way saying these units are on the horizon. They are way down. But if you ever had sort of a new release after all the factions are out for Dwarves, maybe some of these units will appear. Who knows? So let's take a look. So character-wise, who's missing? We don't have our Brewmaster. So Brewmaster is a hero. You can see an image of a Brewmaster style miniature there. So that could be a possibility, a Brewmaster hero. Special. We can see a Death Roller, which is this one here. That could be interesting. It's kind of like a giant lawnmower. Fire Thrower, Missile Infantry. This kind of reminds me a bit of like the Skaven thing. But when you think they got the flame cannon and you've got the Drake fire guns and stuff like that, but they're more like handguns. So it's kind of interesting. They don't actually have like a flamethrower unit. So you could see the fire throwers potentially being quite interesting. You've got Slayer Pirates. So Slayer Pirates obviously recently kind of came in with the new update in Total Warhammer. But if you actually go back into the game where you did Dogs of War, you had Long Drawn Slayer's Pirates. So you could actually have Slayer Pirates as a unit, which I think is really quite interesting, really fun. Gives a slightly different feel to Slayers, and actually kind of expands the Slayer thing to where there's more things you can do with them just by having these, non-armored guys rushing forwards and can they survive long enough to get in combat? They're just slightly different. So Slayer Pirates, that could be really quite interesting. And there's precedent for all of these. You can see the models, right? There's precedent for all of it. Doom Seekers. Well, we see these in Age of Sigmar, right? Doom Seekers, but Doom Seekers were in a book, so you could have Doom Seekers. That could be an interesting one as heavy infantry. Rune Guardians, I really like the potential for these. These could be really cool as a rare unit. I kind of feel like rare is underutilized, so having something like Doom Seekers in there, Rune Guardians, I think would be really interesting. I think there could be more put in the rare category, and I could definitely see, the Rune Guardians, they could do some really cool stuff with that. So yeah, Rune Guardians. Thunderbarge as a behemoth, I guess. Thunderbarge recently again put in Total Warhammer. You look at stuff that's in the Caradron Overlords for Age of Sigmar. There could be potential for something like a Thunderbarge in there. There's clearly some stuff that was taken across from Warhammer Fantasy Dwarves into those. So, Thunderbarge is supposed to be pretty big, but I could definitely see, Games Workshop, they do like some of their big models, and the Thunderbarge could be a real interesting one. So it's a possibility. Though probably further out than these other ones we have on here. And the final one here is the Goblin Hewer. So here you go. This is Malachi McCason's Goblin Hewer. So Malachi McCason was a legendary lord, just literally put in a week or so ago into Total Warhammer 3 as a legendary lord, along with his war machine, which is the Goblin Hewer thing here, which is really quite interesting. So again, that could be, I love the way they've done the little model with the axes into the Goblin. That's really quite funny. But the model exists, right? This was here. So again, something else that could be put in. So other than the Thunder Barge, but the Thunder Barge has reached back into Caradron Overlord stuff that's been released. Everything, has models or had models. So any of these missing units, we could see them being put into the game. So I just thought we'd finish off the faction focus with something a little bit fun, looking at what the future could hold. This is assuming they don't come up with anything new, right? But there's stuff out there that is missing, that does have precedence from the past, that is in the lore, for example. So, yeah, I hope you found that fun and interesting way to wrap up our Dwarf faction focus before we start working on the Empire of Man. As I say, it's been a lot of work put into this faction focus, and there's a lot of work still to come. I hope it's been useful. I hope you've all enjoyed it, and I look forward to moving on to the Empire of Man next. If you enjoyed this video, though, with the missing units, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Let me know why in the comments down below. And if you want to see the next faction focus, the Empire of Man, please hit that subscribe button. It really, really helps me out. It's such a big deal, and I do really appreciate it. And I appreciate those who have already subscribed. You've been watching The Ghost Owl, and I'll see you all very, very soon.